Welcome to Filmatic. I am your host, the Film Doctor. Is this
and the Film Surgeon? And we are back in the attic with another hot film to dissect.
Not just another hot film to dissect. We are now going to give our Filmatic cut, our 4-hour Filmatic cut of what movie? What movie are we doing?
Zack Snyder's Justice League. Coming to us from HBO Max, and in theaters, but HBO Max, you know what to do.
Go ahead and hit us with this sponsorship. So let's jump right into our film review. You go first.
So 4 hours is a long time. I understand why it was 4 hours. I get it. It provided a lot of context and it was a lot less cheesier than the original film. I will say that. A lot of things made more sense and were a little bit more cohesive in the storytelling and direction setting. But I also feel like this is him not wanting to leave anything on the cutting floor. This movie could have been 2 hours. I feel like they could have done it. But I mean, I understand he's no longer making these movies. This is the end for him. It's his vision. So I get the whole 4-hour bit. As far as other things, I thought cinematography was really good. I thought acting was really good. And the way they put them in the situations, the Flash was not as cringy as he was in the first movie. It makes him make sense more, and he doesn't do a lot of stupid stuff and a lot of goofy stuff that he does in the first movie. So I like the portrayal of Superman better here. The acting is, is anybody winning an Oscar or an Academy Award? No, but it was good for what it was. I still don't like Ben Affleck as Batman. Didn't like him as Batman in the first one. Don't like him as Batman, period. So, that's neither here nor there. I'm not going to knock the film because Ben Affleck is there. The surprise cameos in here were good.
If Benedict Cumberbatch was there, probably.
No, I like Doctor Strange, so I like him in that role.
I didn't say Doctor Strange. I said Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, he's not meant to be Batman. He can stay Doctor Strange. So I mean, the cameos in here, I won't ruin it. There are a lot of some good Easter eggs that they plop on you that I really enjoyed. Like I said, I thought the cinematography was good. The sets were pretty much the same as the first one. There's a little slight variance with a few scenes where they're not all the same, and that provides that context. But a lot of the bigger sets are the same. But the context is good. It's what adds to the movie. It's what makes it better than the original movie. So, was there
anything you liked inside this movie?
I like the movie as a whole. I'm saying I like the movie. I'm just saying that
you started with the starting with the bad just to get it out the way.
Just to get it out the way.
This was bad. This was good. This could have been different. So you did like it. What's the rating on it?
I'm gonna have to go ahead and give it an A-. Can't give it an A. Can't go all the way there, just because I think 4 hours is a drab. But A- for sure. Definitely worth your time. If you have HBO Max, I would definitely check it out. I watched it all the way through. I think it is watchable all the way through, even though it is 4 hours. It's entertaining enough to keep you, but you can also watch it. They have it segmented on purpose so that you could potentially watch it like you would a TV show. You catch chapter 1 here, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. So that's my grade for it. I enjoyed Zack Snyder's Justice League. It was way better than Joss Whedon's Justice League, less cringier, less bad jokes. So I like it. It had more of a seriousness to it than the original Justice League.
Was that your whole 4-hour interview? Now I'll do mine.
Go right ahead.
I knew you were gonna probably have some bads about it, and I knew it would be time that you would complain about. So I had you go first. And so my overall review is almost the entire opposite. I know that a lot of people before it even came out were complaining, oh, it's 4 hours, yada, yada, yada. And my whole thing is that I don't know what people's insight is on what amount of time something needs to be in order for it to be acceptable, but the fact of the matter is that a 2-hour film, the first 2-hour version of the film, was not good. And it wasn't good in my eyes. And when I thought about it long and hard, I said, it's like if you're filming an event, and let's say it's a historical event, we'll go with Martin Luther King's speech, and you only show highlights of it. You don't get the full experience of the speech. You don't get the full appreciation of the speech. You don't understand the message of the speech. And that's what is the difference from the first Justice League to this version. 4 hours is a long time. I watched it twice, actually. I took off work and stayed home and watched it from like 7 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock in the afternoon. And I watched it again, I think later that evening when I came home from the other job. So I've seen it twice. And yes, 4 hours is a long time, but 4 hours is a long time if something is slow, if something is taking too long to tell. I think that the reason why the first Justice League was not as good is because they were skipping by a lot of parts where it's like, well, why this? Why that? I had too many questions. And if that becomes that answering those questions either takes longer or you find a way to quickly answer them and still have an appreciation for that, I think the fact that he was able to do a 4-hour movie and you still were not like bored by it, like, oh my God, this is too slow. When is this gonna pick up? Blah, blah, blah. Then that would be different. But I think that in this 4 hours, I was captivated by everything. And I'm a huge Marvel DC fan, and I think that DC needed this. This was their revival. They were on the verge of flatlining, and this was the resuscitator, the defibrillator that brought them back to life. I know that originally Justice League was supposed to be inside of 2 parts. This was supposed to be the first one. And just from a lot of the Easter eggs, like you mentioned, this proves that there should be a second one, that there could be a second one, and that second one is going to be that deal. I think that this movie is up there with the calibers of a Infinity War, Endgame, and Dark Knight. Definitely, hands down. I don't think anybody else is a good enough Batman that could sell a good enough Batman than Ben Affleck. And that includes Robert Pattinson. So I had my facial expressions during yours. You can keep yours during mine. I'm going to keep going because I think it was a phenomenal movie. Yeah, I'm upset, like many, that it's in 4:3 ratio, but I'm not going to complain. I can probably see why. They told the story. There was a lot of things that were missing, like I said, from the first one. And as far as the jokes, to me, they kept the same shitty jokes in there. They just may have added like 2 other ones that I didn't know about. Other than that, it was the same shitty jokes. I think that the fight scenes and the special effects,
they cut a lot of the trash out. I'll say that that was there before with the Flash. He's still comedic relief, and it's some of the same thing.
He
but
should
he's
have been
not
funnier though.
He's not as much comedic relief as he was in the first one. Like he actually has he doesn't seem like the goofy guy that they just brought along to be the comic relief. He actually has a purpose in this film.
Well, they all had a purpose in this one versus the other one. They're all somebody that, you know, when you watch something and you want to be connected to the characters, you really weren't connected. You didn't know a lot of them. They just brought in Cyborg out of nowhere. And it was like, okay, well, I don't really, and they tried to touch on the story, but you didn't understand it as much inside the first version than you did the second version. And that goes for everybody. And I loved the fight scene with Wonder Woman. They really spruced her up to make her look like that. BITUNOCH. I might as well just spell all of it. But yeah, she was that deal in that scene in the second version than it was in the first one. The first one was just like, it's okay. But this one, it was way better. I love all the cameos. There was things that I wanted to see, and I think I got all of that and more. But there was one thing, and I don't want to spoil it, but there is one person that's missing in my eyes that belongs in the Justice League. You may have got a glimpse of that person's being, around inside this universe as their people were shown, but not that specific person. There was rumor that the actual actor that played one of these individuals on the Justice League was supposed to be in, and it wasn't. So that was bothersome because I really wanted to see that individual. Throughout the whole movie, I'm like, man, where is this whole Joker scene? Like, I really thought, and I'm happy that they kind of say it. I think it was smart for them to save it towards the end. I don't know if I'm spoiling that, but
kind of.
Kind of. Okay, well, whatever. So I think that they did justice, because to tell that story of Justice League and incorporate Joker, like, he would have no purpose in being there, and also telling the story of Steppenwolf and Justice League formation and Darkseid, blah blah blah. I think that where they placed this was perfect, and I loved his portrayal of it. I think that it is up there with the caliber of Heath Ledger. I still would say Heath is better. Okay, did you have a lemon? Are you sucking on a lemon here? Because definitely I did not criticize your Batman. I may have had some facial expressions. If we play it back, I probably had some facial expressions when you put down Ben Affleck as Batman. But yes, okay. His performance and portrayal. I love the darkness of this. I love the swearing. I did not think that they would drop the F-bomb as many times as they did inside this movie. I loved it. I'm going to give this is a long, because it was 4 hours. So I think there's a lot to cover. I'm going to give it an A. Somewhere, can I go in? I can't go in between an A and an A+, can I?
There's nothing in between an A and A+.
Can we make up something? Like an AG?
I guess if you want to.
An A exclamation mark.
In my grading, there won't be anything in between an A or an A+. It's an A+ or an A.
We can make something up though, can't we? Because it belongs in between that. It's hard for me to say A because I feel like that's too low, and I don't want to say A+ because I feel like there were things that could have been different. I also love, in terms of music, a lot of the shitty music that they used from the first one, they upped the ante. Music plays a huge role inside of bringing you in and connecting you, making you feel something. And I had that feeling during this one than compared to the first one. And obviously the cinematography was great. It's that typical Zack Snyder slow-mo and special effects and certain angles that he does. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. Again, I don't think it needed to be for 4 hours, but that doesn't detract from it.
I think you would have been mad if they cut something that you were like, why didn't they talk about this, or why didn't they tell this?
There's some stuff there we just didn't need. And I'm not gonna spoil it.
Name one thing that was there that was not needed.
The whole Diana going to find out about the main villain, the main villain, the big boss in this. We didn't need that.
Why did we not?
That scene where she got the arrow, we didn't need that either. I mean, that just didn't need to be in there. Sure.
I will agree with that. Second one,
it just didn't need to be there. I'm just saying, like, there is stuff in here that does not need to be there.
There are a lot of people that don't know anything about Justice League or the universe like they do Marvel. And even then, when you watch Marvel movies, there's certain people that they name, like they name Morbius. I don't know who Morbius is until that came up. So people that don't know who Darkseid is, it's important for them to talk about him. And
I think you can do that without sparing that whole scene of her becoming Tomb Raider. So,
okay, well,
I think you can get the gist without her being Tomb Raider.
They should have casted Ben Affleck as every single character inside of the Justice League.
I'm just saying, there are some things in here that, you know, yeah, while they're nice to have, you know, a Mustang is nice to have, but you don't drive it in the winter. Like, you know, it's nice to have, but it's not necessary.
If you made a Mustang that could be driven in the winter,
I would love to see it.
Possible. Well, I think that it was good. I think it's definitely worth the watch for anybody. It's entertaining. It's no different than a 2.5 hour end game. It's just an hour and a half, a little bit longer, and it covers a lot more that was missing, and it tells a lot more because it gives kind of a foreshadowing outlook of the next one and the direction that they're headed.
So this is it for him, actually. He's already said he's not making any more movies.
When and where did he say this? Because to my knowledge,
he said this week before this movie came out. If he said, even if this movie ends on a cliffhanger, I'm no longer making Justice League movies. So this is it for him. He's done. It's unfortunate.
How many rappers have you seen say I'm retiring and then they come back?
I'm just telling you.
How many basketball people and football people have you seen, since you're a sports fanatic, have said I'm retired, I'm done, and they come back?
I'm just telling you, this is what he said, and I think a part of it is what you know, it's a lot of trauma around this with his daughter, you know. That
I think he's over
that. Could be it.
Well, not over. I mean, you don't ever get over it, but I think that if it was that traumatic, he wouldn't have even come back to do this. Why? What is the purpose?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you know, the news came out that, you know, this was it for him. He's not doing another Justice League. I would love to see where they go from here, but I think we're going to get a new storyline. I don't
believe it, because this was not just his. To my understanding from interviews I've seen, is that he has put Easter eggs in all of the DC movies that connect to this whole storyline. So unless he's just going to give them his idea for a storyline of what all of this is leading up to and letting other directors tell that story, you can't really do that without the actual visionary there, especially if this has the kind of success that I feel it's already headed towards.
Yeah, I mean, I have plenty of articles that are saying that this is it for him. He doesn't plan on making DC movies after this. Yeah, I mean, they can but he says he has no plan to. But he also says, so who knows? So we'll see. I mean, here's the thing.
Especially when they pay people money inside of this industry,
they need to go about building their own universe, not trying to combat Marvel. I think that's the bigger thing.
But the thing is that you have the Marvel universe and you have the DC universe. It's really the exact same thing, just different superheroes. They both have this multiverse. They both have a plethora of superheroes and supervillains. For anybody to try and compare, you can't compare, because they really are the same thing, just different superheroes and
people have a preference, you know. Some people like McDonald's, some people like Wendy's, some people like
Android versus iPhone.
I mean, people have a preference, and people have a preference for Marvel, and I think, you know, DC has some interesting characters that I'm more interested in seeing in a film format, but at the same time, they gotta do it. They got to do it their own way.
Who is the one that you would want to see from the DC universe that they have not done?
I want to see a Flash movie. For sure.
Well, they're doing that.
Yeah, they're definitely doing that. I also really want to see a Batman with Robin. We've seen Batman movies, but a Batman and Robin movie.
Am I spoiling it to talk about that Easter egg that was kind of, in my eyes, put out there from?
And I would say you are. I would say you are, but you know, if you're gonna say it, you go right ahead. That's why I didn't mention it. I was just saying that I would.
Well, everything could be. That's why they're called Easter eggs, and a lot of people speculate about Easter eggs anyway, and then they end up being wrong. So, I'm just saying the way I interpreted that is that what you're saying is possible.
Yeah. So I would love to see see one of those. I think we're kind of done with Superman as a solo film kind of guy.
Oh, there's another Superman coming too.
Yeah, I know, but I don't really care.
You will when it's and
I don't really care. I mean, will I watch it? Yes, but do I care? No.
They made him look
I watch a lot of things I don't care about.
Like Superman, like a beast though inside of this one, which they made him look so much like a beast in this one that it was almost like, well, how the hell did you die inside the first one? Right. Deal.
Yeah. There's a few people that they can bring in here. I want to see a Green Lantern movie done properly.
That's supposed to be coming too, and I thought it was HBO Max called Green Lantern Corpse, but I had heard no word about who they're casting and whatever, aside from the rumor that was supposed to be inside of this one. So
yeah, I would like to see one of those done properly. There are a lot of DC characters that and not just villains too. You know, we got Mr. Slade in the cutscenes of the OG. So, you know, they've teased him before. I would love to see Mr. Slade. I don't care for Lex Luthor. The Joker, obviously, everyone loves the Joker, but they're going to expand.
I don't know why he didn't get his own movie anyway. Like, he should have, before Harley Quinn and some of these other people, Joker should have been that guy. And they did with Joaquin Phoenix, but
that's the problem.
Adaptation of the actual Joker. That was
that's why they didn't do that, is because that movie came out and it was extremely successful. And I think that was a creative choice as to why in the new Batman movie come out with Robert Pattinson that the Riddler is the villain and not the Joker. It's hard to follow up on something that wins a lot of Academy Awards and do it right. It's the same reason why we didn't see a Joker after Heath Ledger for a while. It's hard to follow up an Academy Award winning thing. It is with someone different. And not to say that Jared Leto isn't talented, he is, but is he Heath Ledger? Absolutely not.
Heath Ledger also wasn't Jared Leto, but what I'm saying is that the performance was really good and it added up to.
It was okay.
It was good.
It was okay. I could have done without it, but it was okay.
His laugh as the Joker wasn't the laugh that I know Joker to be, but that could be maybe he's like a little toned down. You didn't see him for a long period of time, but you saw him enough in my eyes to appreciate the performance and appreciate the character. So
he's okay. And then we got a connection with him and Batman that, we've seen scattered throughout the movies, but they're not even really connected, which is why that was kind of a problem for me. But
well, all in all, this movie is the opportunity for the revival of DC, for them to do, for all the
they've been going strong. They missed with Wonder Woman 1984, but they had two good films, Aquaman, Wonder Woman. This was another.
Shazam.
And Shazam was fantastic. See, look, making my point.
And there's supposed to be a Shazam too.
So I think they're going in the right direction. Wonder Woman 84 was just a.
And I still count Dark Knight and those like Christopher Nolan movies as being
those
part
aren't
of
the same.
That were good.
No, those aren't the same.
Hey, if you can't erase Hulk from the history and Daredevil and Elektra and Catwoman,
I would prefer they stay out of the history. All of those movies you just named.
Well, guess what? On page 1 in that history book, they're still there. So you can't get rid of them. They'll always still be there, unfortunately. So that's all we have for you. Our 4-hour version of the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. I feel like I'm on Legend Talks. I'm about to get the Legend Talks outro here. But thanks for joining us. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell, do all that jazz. Send us an email. Tie a little note to a pigeon's leg. Send it on its way. Let me know inside the comments however you guys feel. And as always, this has been another exciting episode of Filmatic.